Colonel Mara Vance's console erupted in red alerts as the alien ultimatum broadcast hit every Earth command net. Empress Sharon's voice boomed from the speakers, her translated words sharp as blades. Primitive species of Sol. Submit your fleets and colonies. Resistance invites extinction. Vance ignored the drama. She pulled up the civilian shipping manifests. Fingers danced across her haptic board. In 60 seconds flat, she rerouted every freighter, colony shuttle, and deep space hauler into decoy corridors, ghost paths mimicking military convoys, bait laid. She keyed her comm. Lieutenant Park, you're up. Juno Park hunched over her signals rig 2 decks below. Human tech had cracked them hours ago. During the first probe flybys, Park punched in the code. False readiness signals flooded the enemy sensors. Phantom fighter squadrons scrambling. Reactor signatures spiking to full battle ready. Imperial scanners lit up with the lie. Signals away, Colonel. They're seeing a full defensive posture on every approach vector. Vance nodded to her empty bridge. Good work, stayed quiet. She scanned the holomap. Enemy vanguard, Admiral Vox's strike group, hung at the system edge. Cruisers bristling with plasma lances, they'd bite soon. She tagged the debris field from last week's asteroid mining ops. Old nukes, kinetic mines, sensor decoys. Untapped potential. All units, execute fallback delta. Draw them into the belt. Captains acknowledged without questions. Earth's defense fleet peeled back, engines flaring in perfect simulation of panic. Freighters scattered ahead, broadcasting distress calls. Vox's ships surged forward, locking weapons. Admiral Keth Vox gripped his command throne as the human signals painted his bridge displays. They scramble like insects, he snarled to his bridge crew. Sharun demanded swift compliance. These humans would kneel or burn. His vanguard, 8 cruisers, 20 corvettes, thrust into pursuit. Sensors showed human ships fleeing into the debris-choked asteroid belt. Perfect kill box for Imperial lances. Full commit, Vox ordered. Vanguard lead. Advance on the decoys. Corvettes screen the flanks. His lead cruisers accelerated, cutting through the first civilian wrecks. No resistance. Humans ran. Vox's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Empress would praise this. Proximity klaxons screamed. The debris field erupted. Chain detonations ripped from hidden mines. Kinetic slugs chaining into plasma blooms. First cruiser buckled, hull splitting in a fire cascade. Second followed, reactors breaching in sequence. Shrapnel clouds shredded corvette screens. Vance watched the returns on her board. 2 cruisers gone. Vox's vanguard milled in chaos, half their formation gutted. Her fleet reformed behind the fresh debris wall. Hold fire. Let them stew. Park patched in intercepted Imperial chatter. Vox's voice crackled through. Fall back! It's a trap. Debris laced with ordnance. Panic edged his tone. Humans turned junk into weapons. Empress Sharun's war chamber thrummed with tension. Her throne overlooked the strategic holodome, where Sol Systems lights flickered under Imperial overlays. Envoy Talon Sarith stood at her side, data slate glowing. Sharun's crest lay flat. Discipline held, but irritation gnawed. Vox reports losses. 2 cruisers to mind wreckage? Sarith inclined his head. Humans rerouted civilian traffic as decoy. False signals masked the pullback. They treat invasion as logistics. Sharun's claws tapped her armrest. Humans should cower. Her empire spanned quadrants. Primitives broke under first lance fire. Yet these scheduled her advance like a catalog order. Recall Vox. Reassess vectors. Vance's fleet ghosted through the belt's shadows. Park fed her fresh intercepts. Vox licking wounds, pulling back to regroup. Sharun's own channels buzzed with doubt. Vance plotted next phase. Flip the civilian lanes into resupply chains. Arm the miners with railgun refits. No grand speeches, just work orders. A priority ping hit from fleet intel. Captured Imperial drone schematics. Park's voice cut in. Colonel, their beacons have back doors. I can spoof a full surrender flag. Lure their heavies into the outer moons. Vance smiled faintly. Do it. Quietly. Admiral Vox stormed his flagship's medbay. Carapace scarred from shrapnel. Bridge officers averted eyes. 2 cruisers. Gone. Crews vaporized. His vanguard limped. Corvettes patching hulls. Humans fight like vermin in walls, he growled to his exec. No honor charge. Just traps. Exec nodded. Empress demands report. Shall we press? Vox hesitated. Sensors lied before. Humans hid strength in debris. In signals, his lances excelled in open void. This belt choked them. We group at Lagrange Point. Wait for heavies. Sha Run's chambered doors hissed open. Vox's hologram snapped to attention. Majesty. The primitives faint retreat into hazards. Losses mount. Sha Run's eyes narrowed. You chased shadows. Their commander turns our expectations to slag, Sorith interjected softly. Reports name her Colonel Vance, logistics officer. She schedules war like harvest quotas. Vox bristled. A quartermaster dares, results speak. Sharun cut in. Her empire conquered through fear, precision strikes. Humans inverted it, calm competence where panic should reign. Doubt crept. Divert scouts to their colonies, probe true strength. Vance's console chimed victory tones. Vox stalled. Sharun diverted, time bought. She routed miner rigs to lay fresh mine webs, freighters dumping drone swarms. Park's spoof fed false surrenders. Vox's heavies shifted off axis. Colonel, Park said, Imperial nets fracturing. They're questioning their own scans. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Resupply incoming. Positions hold. We turn their blitz into a siege. In her gut, no triumph burned. Just the next manifest. Humans built empires from supply chains. Aliens chased glory. Vox's folly proved it. Underestimate the routine. Lose the war. Sharun stared at the holodome. Human signals flickered. False flags. Ghost fleets. Vance scheduled her doom. Conquest cracked. Rethink or shatter. Boarding pods thudded against the UNS Endurance's hull like meteorites. Nolmara Vance gripped her console as klaxons wailed. Red emergency lights pulsed across the bridge. Pods confirmed, Colonel, Lieutenant Juno Parks said from signals. 16 impacts, forward sections. They're cutting through. Vance punched the SEAL command. Bulkheads slammed shut along primary corridors. Power down non-essentials. Lights out in breached zones. Marines printed maps and mag reels. Isolate and neutralize. Marines acknowledged over comms. Voices steady, no panic. Just procedure. Empress Sharun watched the holodome feed from her throne ship. Admiral Vox's hologram swelled with triumph. Pods away, Majesty. We seized their flagship command. Vance captured alive. Your conquest ends today. Sharun's mandibles clicked approval. Human resistance crumbled under precision. Vox's borders, elite shock troops, would drag Vance in chains. On the Endurance, darkness swallowed the forward bays. Alien borders spilled out, plasma rifles glowing faint blue. Their suits auto-lit visors, scanning empty corridors. Target command deck. Their leader barked in guttural imperial. Secure leadership. Vance monitored from the lit bridge 2 decks aft. Park's fingers flew over her board. They're navigating by suit HUDs. Choke points active. Manual overrides only. First contact echoed through vents. Marine gunfire. Muffled screams. Vance keyed Marine leads. Sergeant Hale, status. Pod 1 contained Colonel. Reed tangos down. Reels holding position. In the black, humans moved like ghosts. Printed maps, old-school paper, EMP-proof, guided them. Magnetic line reels unspooled from belts, anchoring paths in zero drifts. No tech trails for alien scanners. Borders pushed into a junction. Suits beeped warnings, power fluctuations, sealed paths. They breached a grate, straight into Marine killbox. Rifles cracked, lead border spun, chest plate hold. His squad fired blind, plasma scorching bulkheads. Marines hugged shadows, popping flares only to blind alien visors. Flank left, Hale whispered. Reels tugged them sideways, silent. Vance nodded at Park. Recall hack ready? Locked. Their pods use standard Imperial encryption. Sloppy. Sharun's feed glitched. Vox's voice sharpened. Borders report darkness. Human sabotage? Expected, Vox scoffed. Our suits compensate. Capture imminent. Envoy Sorith leaned forward, optics narrowing. Humans fight without light. Unusual. Back on the Endurance, Pod 5's team stumbled into a vent trap. Vance had vented Atmos selectively. Thin air slowed them. Fogged visors. Marines waited at the exit grate. Go, Vance ordered. Grenades rolled in. Flashbangs tailored for alien spectra. Boarders clawed eyes, rifles wild. Marines surged, blades and shotguns close quarters. One alien gasped over open comms. Suit translators kicking in. "How do you see?" A Marine's voice calm. "We don't need to." Vance checked manifests. Ammo stocks green. Medbay prepped. Next resupply ETA, 12 hours. Park grinned. Pods hijacked. Recall signal inverted. Fire it. Pods hummed alive across the hull. Surviving boarders, dozens scattered, raced back, mag boots pounding, doors hissed open. Pods sealed. Acceleration crushed them into gel pads. Pods rocketed outward. Not to Vox's fleet, but slingshot trajectories toward his hangar bays. Admiral Vox's bridge erupted in alarms. Incoming contacts. Our own pods. Trajectories crossed his carrier's path. Pods slammed into hangar shields at flank speed. Explosions ripped voids. Debris peppering his hull. Boarders aboard. Vox roared. Negative. Pods empty. Except wreckage. Sharoon's chamber chilled. Sorith's report scrolled. Endurance intact. Losses. All boarders. Vox's hologram flickered. Mandibles slack. Impossible. They turned our weapons inward. Vance exhaled on the bridge. Lights flickered back on forward. Marines reported in. 12 pods neutralized. 4 slung. 0 human Kaya A. Good work, she said. Cycle air, reset seals. Park, spoof their scans. Make it look like we took hits. Aye, Colonel. Feeding ghost damage now. Sharoon rose from her throne. Explain, Admiral, Vox stammered. They killed power deliberately. Fought in voids with strings, maps, no tech. Logistics, Sorith murmured. They planned for blindness. Printed backups. Reels for navigation, routine preparations. Vox snarled. Primitives improvise. Competence, Sharoon snapped. Her empire drilled fear into foes. Humans scheduled traps like inventory audits. No rage, no desperation. Just manifests turning invasion to scrap. Diversion holds, she demanded. Vox nodded stiffly. Heavies repositioned. But their signals, false surrenders everywhere. Sorith interjected. Colonel Vance inverts us. We chase glory. She builds webs from miners, freighters. Probes report drone swarms in our path. Sharoon's claws tightened on armrests. Doubt gnawed. Vox lost ships to his own pods. Endurance stood, mocking. On the Endurance, Vance plotted next manifests. Miner rigs seeded minefields ahead of Vox's flank. Freighters dumped repair drones masking as wrecks. Park's cyber feeds fractured Imperial command net. Scouts questioning scans, heavies off axis. Imperial net fracturing, Park confirmed. They're chasing phantoms. Vance keyed fleet-wide. Resupply en route. Hold positions. We turn blitz to siege. Marines cheered quietly. No boasts. Just reloads. Sharoon stared at the holodome. Human icons blinked. False flags, ghost fleets. Vox stalled in the belt. Her campaign bled. Pull back heavies, she ordered. Reassess vectors. Vox protested. Majesty, results speak. Sorith's words echoed Vance's calm. Conquest cracked. Humans didn't charge. They scheduled. Vance's console chimed. Scout probe intercepted. Data streamed. Imperial diversions exposed. She routed fresh drone swarms. Time bought. Supply chains held. In her gut, no fire, just the next order. Vox's boarding folly proved it. Underestimate the routine, and empires shatter. Empress Sharoon dismissed Vox's hologram. Alone, she traced human signals. Calm competence where panic reigned. Rethink, or break. Alarms blared anew on the Endurance. Fresh contacts. Imperial scouts probing colonies. Vance smiled faintly. Traps primed. Park, light 'em up. Lieutenant Juno Park's fingers danced across the console. Cyber spikes lanced out. Imperial scout probes flickered and died in silent blooms of EMP fire. Alarms on the Endurance hushed. Colonel Mara Vance leaned forward. Status? Scouts neutralized, Park said. No data leak. Their heavies still blind. Vance nodded. Fleet manifests scrolled her main screen. Drone swarms inbound, minor rigs blooming minefields. Vox's flank stalled. Time to escalate. She keyed the tight beam transmitter. Target: Imperial flagship, Throne's Fury. Empress Sharoon, this is Colonel Mara Vance, Endurance. Request immediate ceasefire. Open a direct channel.
Static hissed, then a voice.
Layered, resonant with clicks underscoring alien syllables. Translators hummed. Human commander, you presume much. State your terms. Vance kept her tone flat. Logistics officer through. No bluster. No terms. Demonstration. Grant a test volley from Admiral Vox's heavies. I'll share the firing solution. Watch us evade. Silence stretched. Vance tapped her stylus. Park routed fresh drone feeds. Imperial net fractures deepened. Scouts chasing ghosts. Vox's vectors exposed. Sharoon's response crackled. Arrogance or suicide. Vox, prepare salvo. Target endurance group. Fire on my mark. Vance smiled faintly, predicted. She patched the channel fleet-wide. Human ships perked up, markers steady. Admiral Vox, Vance transmitted openly. Next barrage, elevation 12.4, azimuth 207.9, spin compensated for your barrel drift. Velocity 0.82c. Wheel plot evasion now. Park's eyes widened. Colonel, you're handing them our dodge? Watch. Vance overlaid the solution on tactical. Micro burn patterns cued. Split-second thruster pops. Vector weaves. Standard drill for belt haulers dodging debris. Imperial comms erupted. Vox's hologram flickered on her split screen. Scaled face twisted. Mandibles flaring. Impossible. How? Fire, Sharoon cut in. Her image materialized beside him. Regal. Crested. Eyes like polished obsidian. Claws gripped her throne. Prove her false. Vox snarled. Heavies aligned. Rails charged. Salvo launched. Dozens of slugs streaked, precise as Vance predicted. Endurance shuddered. Thrusters fired in sequence. Park whooped softly as scopes confirmed. Every human ship danced the pattern. Slugs whipped past. Harmless. One grazed a decoy freighter. Drone swarm erupted from the wreck. Swarming a trailing corvette, Vance keyed Mike. Predictable. Your gunnery cycles every 47 seconds. Barrel harmonics leak via drive wakes. We read it clean. Sharoon's crest flattened. Vox bellowed protests. Majesty, jam their feeds. Quiet. Her gaze bored through the hologram. Demonstration complete. What next, Colonel? Vance broadcast wider. Solution packet dumped to every Imperial frequency. And every human relay, broadcasting full gunnery profile, every ship in your fleet, every station in our belt. Evade or eat it. Shears muted, efficient. Patterns loaded, unrailed with. Resupply holding, no victory laps, just reloads. Imperial net buckled, Park's overlays showed it. Corvettes peeling off, heavies querying command. Vox's formation splintered, Sharon's claws scraped audible. You are my enemies. Defensive data, Vance said. You fired first. We scheduled around it. Sarith's voice intruded. Emissary's hologram edging in. Majesty, outcomes align with Vance's manifests. Vox's losses mount. Vance caught the exchange via open mic. Sharoon silenced him with a gesture. Her eyes locked on Vance's feed. Ceasefire holds. Parley terms? Not yet. Vance routed fresh manifests. Colonies reinforced, traps chaining deeper. Pull Vox's flank. Reassess. Or we turn your blitz to graveyard. Vox lunged forward in hologram. I'll glass your rock hoppers. Sharoon waved him mute. Her posture shifted. Less throne, more calculation. You fight like quartermaster bugs. No charge. No glory. Schedules. Works. Vance's console pinged. Drone swarms engaging stragglers. Casualties minimal. Glory loses wars. We hold. Park leaned in. They're routing scouts our way. Bait. Expected. Vance adjusted patterns. Imperial probes winked out, one by one. Sharoon's voice returned, edged, direct channel. Now.
Explain your traps.
Hologram stabilized. Empress filled the bridge view. No entourage. Claws flexed. Speak, Vance. Your pods boarded empty hulls. We seeded them. Vance shared probe data, minor rigs as mines, freighters birthing drones. Logistics first. Targets aren't targets. Sharon's mandibles clicked. Vox assured dominance. Heavy guns win openings. We close with schedules. Vance paused. Park fed live. Vox's heavies evading their own predicted fire. Humans dodging clean. Admiral's fleet scattered. Losses piled. 2 cruisers slagged by exposed patterns. Sarith's report overlaid Sharon's feed. Majesty, human broadcasts propagate. Outer squadrons defect vectors.
Sharon's crest quivered. Pull all forces.
Regroup at Vector Prime. Vance heard the order relay. Fleet icons reversed. Slow, grudging. You handed me the gun, Sharon said low, and evaded. Try again, Vance offered. No smirk. Routine. Empress broke channel. Silence fell. Park exhaled. She blinked. Vance cued resupply. Hold course. Next manifests. Consoles hummed. Human ships reformed. Tight. Unyielding. Imperial retreat firmed. On Throne's fury, Sharon stared at empty holodome. Vance's calm echoed. Conquest schedules cracked. Alarms blared anew. Fresh human signals. Ghost fleets multiplying. Vance's voice ghosted open channels. Traps primed. Welcome to the belt. Sharon keyed Vox. Full withdrawal. Now, her claws dug deep. Rethink or shatter. Endurance bridge thrummed. Vance traced next lines. Colonies secure. Supply chains iron. No fire. Just orders. Park glanced up. Empress pulling back. For real. Vance nodded. 1 volley down. Schedule holds. Fleet cheers rose. Quiet. Reloads clinking. Humans scheduled. Empires bent. Imperial probes circled wary. Vance smiled. More bait inbound. Light 'em up, she said. Park grinned. Spikes flew. War turned siege. On her terms. Sharon watched from afar. Human icons blinked. Traps everywhere. No surrender. Competence carved deeper than blades. Vox's hologram flickered back. Majesty. Silence. She traced Vance's signal. Calm where panic reigned. Campaign bled. Rethink ignited. Endurance evaded another ghost salvo. Patterns perfect. Vance keyed fleet. Resupply inbound. Turn their retreat to rout. Marines loaded. No boasts. Victory queued. Imperial space fractured. Human ingenuity scheduled the fall. Sharon dismissed all feeds. Alone. She plotted counters, but manifests mocked. Humans waited. Traps set. Doubt rooted. Conquest or trap. Vance's next transmission chimed. Empress. Channel open. Your move. She accepted. Face to face. Gun in hand. No shot fired. Hook set. Admiral Keth Vox gripped his command rail. Delta formation. Thrusters sink to Imperial ping. No gaps. His bridge hummed. Hollow displays snapped into rigid grids. 200 cruisers locked vectors. Probes swept the belt's shadows for human ghosts. Mark in 10, Vox barked. Humans scatter like vermin. This crushes them. Crew claws clicked affirmatives. The fleet surged. Perfect alignment. Engines pulsing as one. No room for ambushes. Vox's mandibles flexed. Empress would praise this. Colonel Mara Vance watched the hollow from Endurance's bridge. Imperial icons clustered tight. Vox's ping flooded open channels. Time-stamped. Relentless. Lieutenant Park. Vance said. Jam time. Juno Park's fingers danced over her console. No flourish. Just code slices. She piggybacked Vance's ghost signals onto Imperial relays. Timing drift seeded. Nanosecond creeps. Compounding. Drift live, Park said. Port wing lags 2.3 seconds. Starboard holds. Vance nodded. Plot kinetics to windows. Belt rocks on rails. Park cross-checked. Fleets desync in 5. They'll shear themselves. Imperial pings stuttered. Vox's mark hit. Cruisers jumped. Most. Port flank trailed. 3 seconds off. Engines flared. Mismatched. Vox's fleet fractured mid-maneuver. Lead cruisers vaulted ahead. Rear packets stalled. Exposed. Belt debris pinged sensors. Human kinetics inbound. Evade, Vox roared. Resync. Too late. Rail-launched asteroids slammed port stragglers. Hulls crumpled, debris fields bloomed. Isolated squadrons spun, cut from command net. Human corvettes darted in, pinpoint lasers carving engines. Vox punched his panel. Flanks secure. Fire broadsides. His wing answered, but targets scattered. Human ships ghosted through the mess, strikes surgical. 5 cruisers vented atmo. Crew screams echoed comms. Empress, status? Vox keyed throne link. Static hissed back. Envoy Talon Sorath clung to his shuttle strap. His recorder drone captured it all. Vox's vaunted sync shattered. Packets drifted helpless. Human traps, simple rocks. Timed perfect, mulched Imperial steel. Log complete. Sorath murmured. His stylus tapped urgent code. Humans didn't charge. They scheduled ruin. He patched throne channel. Envoy Sarith to Empress Sharun. Emergency audience. Fleet collapse imminent. Delay stretched. Then, granted. Dock endurance relay. Explain. Sarith's frills quivered. Not fear. Calculation. Humans measured in outcomes. Vox's bluster yielded none. Vance tracked the shear on her main hollow. Imperial line split into 5 packets. Kinetics cleared lanes. Her corvettes reloaded. Quiet efficiency. Park? Status on their net? Drift cascading? Park replied. Vox's overrides bounce wrong. Isolated commands only. Good. Fleet, prosecute packets Alpha through Echo. No pursuits. Resupply holds priority. Cheers murmured. Clips loaded. Endurance's rails hummed fresh loads. Vance sipped recycled water. Routine. Imperial probes circled wary. One pinged her signature. Vance keyed open channel. Empress. Channel open. Your move. Static broke. Sharun's face-filled screen. Scaled golden eyes unblinking. Bridge spines rigid behind her. Colonel Vance. Voice like grinding stone. Claws framed her throne. You jam our machine. Explain terms. Vance leaned in. Calm. No terms. Schedule. Your fleet bleeds supply. Mine doesn't. Pull back. Rethink, or packets fall. Sharun's tail lashed. Once. You presume much. Vox regroups. Watch. Vance patched feed. Vox's hologram flickered on split screen. His bridge smoked. Majesty. Packets holding. Silence. Sharun snapped. Her gaze locked Vance. Ingenuity, not savagery. Park whispered aside. Her probes vectoring out. Real retreat. Vance ignored. Empire fights synced. We drift you apart. Colonies secure. Belts ours. Sharun traced a claw over holomap. Human icons blinked. Traps layered deep. No boasts, just positions held. Admiral Vox, she keyed. Withdrew all. Regroup, outer marker. Majesty, now. Channel cut. Sharun faced Vance again. Rethink granted. Ceasefire. Parlay coordinates? Vance smiled faint. Inbound. Park. Q envoy shuttle. Cressy blanked. Bridge exhaled. Park grinned. She blinked. Vance traced next lines. Supply chains locked. Marines prepped. One gear jammed. More turn. Empress Sharun dismissed her court. Alone. Throne chamber dimmed. Hollow replayed the shear. Seconds undid perfection. Human code. Subtle poison. Sarith's shuttle docked soon. His logs would confirm. Vox's discipline. Rigid. Human calm. Adaptive. She keyed private log. Conquest stalls. Humans schedule defeat. Probe deeper. Doubt coiled, not fear. Opportunity. But Vance's voice echoed. Your move. Claws drummed. Rethink ignited. Vance's fleet fanned patrols. Imperial packets limped out. Probes trailed bait. Fresh ghost signals. Light 'em up, Vance said. Park spiked decoys. Rails whispered loads. War cued next phase. Endurance thrummed steady. Humans waited. Empires bent. Sarith's shuttle neared. Vance prepped bay. Parlay opened doors. Traps stayed set. Imperial space fractured wider. Competence carved the path. Sharun's rethink. Vance's gain. Welcome, envoy, Vance transmitted. Outcomes await. Warspike's hull shuddered as it pierced the hyperspace veil. Sharun gripped her throne arms. Bridge crew snapped to attention. Holo displays bloomed with the human system. Contested belts. Flickering Imperial markers. Report, she commanded. Admiral Vox spun from his station. Mandibles clicked in deference. Majesty. Fleet secures outer orbitals. Human resistance contained in the belts. Casualties minimal. Sharoon's eyes narrowed on the map. Human icons pulsed, not fleeing, holding. Contained? Probes vanished. Explain. Vox stiffened. Guerrilla traps, Majesty. We adapt. No. Sharoon keyed override. Authority codes flashed across all channels. Imperial decree. Admiral Vox relieved. I assume direct command. Acknowledge. Silence gripped the bridge. Vox's crest flattened. Acknowledged. He stepped aside. Sharoon traced claws over the hollow. Human positions layered like nested webs, no panic signals. Just quiet defiance. She opened fleet-wide comms. All vessels, hold fire. Cease advances. Empress Sharoon speaks. Static cleared. Incoming hail blinked. Human origin. Colonel Vance watched the Imperial dreadnought materialize. Bridge screens lit with its silhouette. Spines flared. Weapons hot. Park's console pinged intercepts. They're listening, Park said. Vance nodded. Open channel. Empress direct. Screen resolved. Sharoon's form loomed, scaled and crowned. Eyes like polished obsidian fixed on him. Human commander, she said. Voice layered with Imperial echo. Surrender terms. Vance leaned forward. Calm. Colonel Mara Vance, Earth Defense Command. Negotiation site prepped. Neutral asteroid. Marker 7. Monitored by both sides. Prisoner exchange first. No treaty talk until our people walk free. Sharoon's tail flicked. Subtle irritation. Demands? From the conquered? Protocol. Vance replied. Your captives too. Medkits and parts included. Send coordinates if you agree. Pause stretched. Her claws drummed off screen. Agreed. 1 megacycle. No tricks. Screen blanked. Vance turned to Park. Jam back channels. Prep exchange bay. Marines on standby. Park's fingers flew. Those to raise up. Vox's signals routed to us now. Vance traced supply logs. Prisoners outbound. 47 aliens. Patched wounds. Hull repair kits for their shuttles. Humans incoming. 32 per scans. Traps armed beneath the rock. Empress wants intimidation, Vance said. We'll show routine. Shuttle bays hissed open at marker 7. Sharoon stepped onto the asteroid platform, flanked by guards. Vox trailed, unbidden. Human drones hummed overhead. Monitors live. Across the bay, human shuttles settled. No fanfare, no banners. Vance emerged from the lead craft. Plain uniform, data slate in hand. He gestured. Empress. Your prisoners first. Imperial detainees shuffled out. Humans supported them, applied final bandages. One alien clutched a med kit, self-sealing wounds, nutrient packs. Another hefted repair drones calibrated for Vraxian hulls. Sharoon's second claw twitched. Humans returned enemies whole. Not broken. Supplied. Your turn, Vance said. Imperial guards escorted human captives forward. Thin, but upright. No chains. Med scans cleared them live. Vox hissed low. Majesty. This delays. Silence. Sharoon watched a human officer hand tools to her troops. Efficiency. No speeches. Exchange complete. Vance extended the slate. Signatures. Now treaty? Sharoon reached. Alarms shrieked. Vox's comm crackled. Strike wing inbound. Back channel Alpha. Her head snapped. Vox. Countermand. Too late. Imperial fighters screamed from shadow orbits. Human pickets lit rail slugs. Asteroid trembled. Explosions bloomed close. Sharoon braced as railfire shredded Vox's lead squadron. Wreckage spun past the platform, mere clicks away. Human counterbattery sang, precise, layered fields. Vox's ships crumpled mid-run. Idiot. Sharoon snarled. She seized Vox's arm. Scales split under her grip. You launched without order? Vox writhed. Opportunity, Majesty. Trap them here. Another volley. Human drones detached from the bay. Decoy swarms. Real fire lanced from concealed bays beneath the rock. Vox's second wave vaporized. Guards pulled Sharoon back. Human Marines fanned out, weapons low but trained. Vance stood unmoved. Slate still extended. "Cease this," Vance transmitted, voice steady over chaos. "Exchange holds." Sha-Run keyed her wrist comm. "All strikes. Abort." Vox. Confined to quarters. Vox slumped as guards dragged him. Fighters peeled off, trailing plasma. Silence fell. Debris cooled. She faced Vance, crest low. "Your counter, flawless. Routine," Vance said. "Logistics." "Park spiked your back channels, saw it coming." Sha-Run's gaze swept the bay, human shuttles intact. Her prisoners boarding with kits, no boasts, just execution. "Parley resumes," she said, "but Vox's folly costs." Vance nodded. "Outcomes first. Your move." Shuttle docked in Warspike's Bay. Sha-Run stormed the bridge. Crew averted eyes, Vox's station dark. "Damage?" she demanded. 12 fighters lost, a lieutenant reported. Humans unscathed. She pulled hollow replay. Human rails, predictive arcs, bait drones, feeding false vectors. Vox's rigid assault fed straight into it. "Human code in our nets," the lieutenant added. "Park's signature. Turned our own probes against us." Sha-Run dismissed him. Alone, she keyed Sarith's channel. "Envoy inbound soon." His eyes would see this. Private log. "Admiral's protocol breach exposed weakness. Human Vance schedules traps as work. Rethink invasion vectors." Claws drummed throne. Doubt sharpened. Not fear. Vox underestimated improvisation. She would not. Incoming ping. Vance. Envoy shuttle vectors confirmed. Bay prepped. Sha-Run rose. Prep parley chamber. Full scans. Bridge stirred. Imperial packets rerouted. Probes trailed new ghosts. Lieutenant Park watched the envoy shuttle close. Vance's bridge hummed. Patrols fanned. Rails loaded. "Imperial's limping," Park said. "Sha-Run's pulling back." Vance traced next lines. One admiral down. Supply chains next. Shuttle hailed. Envoy Talon Sorith's voice. "Colonel Vance." Outcomes await. Docking clamps engaged. Bay doors parted. Vance straightened. "Welcome aboard. Let's measure." Marines flanked the ramp. Traps hummed beneath decks. Parley opened. Imperial fractures widened. Human endurance turned the gears. Empress Sha-Run reviewed Sarith's prelim logs. Human bay sterile, efficient. No traps sprung. Yet. Vox's cell feed played. Mandible slack. Replaying his doom. She keyed fleet-wide. Regroup outer marker. No advances. Crests rose in surprise. Orders flowed. Vance's voice echoed from exchange. Routine. Sha-Run faced the void. Human scheduled defeat. Her empire bent. Probe deeper. Claws flexed. War cued anew. Colonel Vance tapped the authorization slate. Full spectrum retaliation. Priority. Vox's fuel tenders. Skip the battleships. Lieutenant Juno Park's fingers flew across her console. Screens flickered with Imperial tanker signatures. Tenders isolated, Colonel. Routing spoofed. Resupply confirmations bounced back as green. Vance nodded once. Bridge crew leaned in. Rails hummed to life. No cheers, just work. Strike wings. Launch on my mark. Vance eyed the holomap. Imperial fleet strung out like overextended beads. Vox's battleships loomed central, but tenders trailed vulnerable. Humans cut arteries, not hearts. Mark. Fighters streaked from bays. Human craft. Sleek, modular. Jury-rigged for the stance. Park patched through. Tankers biting the fake beacons. Redirecting into kill boxes now. Vance watched vectors converge. Envoy Sorith sat across the parley table. Crests flat in forced calm. Marines stood sentinel. "Your admiral pushes," Vance said. "We respond." Sorith's mandibles clicked. "Outcomes, Colonel." Not bluster. Park's voice cut in. First tanker snared. Cyber locks engaged. Imperial tanker shuddered on feeds. Human drones latched. Propellant siphoned. Then spiked. Park isolated the fleet net. Imperial codes cracked like eggshells. Vox's routing algorithms rigid, predictable. She mirrored confirmations. Tanker 7. Alpha. Resupply complete. Proceed to grid echo. 4. Lies fed back seamless. Tankers turned, bellies full of volatile plasma gel. Human traps waited, minefields masked as debris. Chain routing live, Park murmured. Her screens bloomed with diversions. Imperial escorts peeled off, chasing ghosts. Vance's voice steady. Detonation sequence armed. Chain react, the propellant. Park, keyed, strike craft, wings confirm. Plasma glare prepped to blind their sensors. She watched the first tanker drift into the box. Human fighters swarmed. Boarding pods punched hulls. Seconds later, propellant ignited. Not full bloom, but chained bursts. One tanker fed the next. Fireballs linked, a daisy chain of hell. Imperial sensor pings screamed overload. Plasma glare washed their nets white. Vox's fleet staggered blind. Park leaned back. Routing collapsed. Tenders gone. Fleet starving. Strike leader Captain Reyes gripped controls. His wing knifed through the glare. Tanker cluster in sights. Boarding teams set. Propellant clouds boiled. Reyes's craft shuddered. Imperial flak nicked a wing. He jinked, fired grapples, pods deployed. Inside the tanker, Marines breached. Charges placed. Evac. Reyes punched out. Rear sensors caught it. First detonation rippled. Propellant flash jumped ship to ship. A string of novas lit the void. Glare max, Reyes reported. Their eyes are cooked. Back on Vance's bridge, holomap showed it. Imperial battleships milled, sensors dark. Fuel tenders vaporized. Vox's formation fractured. Vance turned to Sarith. See the outcomes. Sarith's claws twitched. Feed patched through. Imperial bridge chaos. He keyed his slate. Empress. Human traps confirmed. Fleet integrity compromised. Empress Sharoon's throne console erupted in alerts. Fuel tenders offline. Sensor nets blanked by plasma blooms. Vox's flagship drifted coreward. Escorts scattered. Admiral Vox! Her voice sliced fleet channels. Stand down. Regroup at outer marker. No advances. Silence. Crests flared among bridge officers. Sharoon keyed direct. Vox's face filled the screen. Mandibles slack, eyes wild. Empress comms jammed. Routing, gone. Her claws dug into armrests. Control your fleet. Now. Vox gestured frantic. Tenders destroyed. Confirmations falsified. Ships ignore overrides. Rerouted to human grids. Sharoon scanned logs. Park's spoofs layered deep. Human cyber tendrils choked command relays. Vox's own tankers turned weapons. Chain detonations propagated. Half his cruisers low on fuel drifting blind. Empress, Vox rasped. They didn't hit my battleships. They cut the lines. Sharoon severed the link. Bridge hushed. Probes reported. Human fighters mopped stragglers. Efficient, routine. She rose. All commands. Full retreat to Imperial space. Reassess vectors. Officers' crests drooped. Orders flowed. Ragged. Not her disciplined machine. Vox had lit the fuse. Humans fanned the blaze. Private log keyed. Vox's rigidity broke first. Human vans schedule starvation as logistics. Empire's conquest. Recalibrate. Claws flexed. Sarith's update pinged. Parlay holds. Human bay secure. No trap sprung. Yet. Incoming from Vance. Fuel lines clear. Next resupply on us. Sharoon stared at the holomap. Humans didn't chase the biggest ship. They severed the vein. Her fleet limped home, bleeding momentum. Probe deeper? Or pivot? Vance watched Sarith's shuttle on dock. Envoy's face, unreadable. Report to your Empress, Vance said over open channel. Outcomes speak. Park cleared her screens. Fleet's folding, Colonel. Vox's command net shredded. Vance traced new lines. Imperial retreat vectors plotted. Good work. Prep counter logistics. They rethink, we reload. Bridge crew reset. Rails cooled. Marines stood down. Sarith's voice echoed faint. Colonel, Sharoon measures. She will return changed. Vance allowed a thin smile. We schedule for it. Holomap shifted. Imperial ghosts faded outer. Human endurance ground on. Traps reloaded. War's gears turned human now. Admiral Keth Vox slammed his console. Bridge smoked. Cyber ghosts lingered in every relay. Empress's stand down. Ignored. Subordinate crests quivered, routing locked, Admiral. Human spoofs persist. Vox's mandibles ground. He'd charged with battleship might, disciplined volleys. Expected surrender. Humans scheduled his thirst. Emergency purges. Vox barked. Too late. Fuel gauges flatlined. Cruisers winked offline. Empress's final order looped, unanswered. His fleet, his command, drifted into human webs. Sharoon dismissed the bridge watch. Alone, she replayed detonations. Human strike craft danced through her glare. Park's codes wove invisible nets. Vance's voice. Routine. Claws drummed. Doubt honed to blade. Not fear. Vox's error. Chase glory. Humans chose sinews. She keyed Soreth. Full debrief. Human capabilities. Logistics as weapon. Rethink all vectors. Soreth's reply. Acknowledged Empress. They welcome measure. Sharoon faced the stars. Empire bent. Not broken, but humans cued the next shift. Invade anew or evolve. Fleet packets rerouted home. Probes trailed silent. War paused. On human terms. Empress Sharoon keyed the comm relay. Envoy Soreth. Prepare docking bay 3. Escort Colonel Vance aboard. Full weapons lock. No deviations. Soreth's hologram flickered. Human shuttle inbound under truce beacon. Sharoon severed the link. Her claws scraped the armrest. Vox's fleet drifted helpless in human kill zones. Logistics as weapon. She would measure this Vance firsthand. Conquest demanded precision, not bluster. Alarms hushed. Bridge feeds showed the human shuttle clamping to the flagship's spine. Marines in iridescent carapace sealed the tube. Soreth led the procession. Vance emerged calm. No salute. His uniform pressed crisp, data slate tucked underarm. Human eyes scanned bulkheads without twitch. Soreth bowed low. Colonel. The Empress grants parley. Vance nodded once. Lead on. Sharoon watched via overlay. Humans moved like scheduled freight. No fear sweat, no grand gestures. She rose as they entered the throne vault. Colonel Mara Vance. You cue my admiral's thirst. Vance halted at the demarcation line. Hollow barriers hummed between them. Empress Sharoon. Your forces overextended supply lines. We fixed that. Her mandibles clicked. Direct. No deference. Fixed. You spoofed my relays. Drained my tanks. Danced strike craft through my volleys. Standard resupply protocols. Vance tapped his slate. A framework projected. Joint patrols. Shared sensor nets. Phased withdrawals. Your withdrawal to the outer marker. Neutral zone here. Cursor sliced a buffer 20 light minutes wide. Sharoon's crest flared. Demands from prey? Yet his traps held her cruisers. Vox's error chained them. You presume terms. My empire claims this volume. Vance met her gaze. Claim after resupply. Your probes show our rails recharge every shift. We trade endurance for territory. Soreth shifted. Sharoon silenced him with a claw. This human spoke logistics like battle cries. Her probes confirmed. Human depots bloomed fresh amid the wrecks. Rails hummed hot. Marines reloaded traps without fatigue. Colonel Vance stood unmoved aboard the Imperial flagship. Weapons lock clamped his shuttle outside. Hollow barriers boxed the throne vault. Empress Sharoon loomed across the gap. Her scaled form coiled under vaulted arches. Air recyclers hummed alien-spiced. Soreth flanked him, crest low. Speak your piece, Colonel. Vance activated the slate. The joint security framework bloomed. Red lines for Imperial retreat. Blue grids for shared watch stations. Withdraw to these coordinates. Establish a neutral demarcation zone. Joint enforcement prevents escalation. Sharoon's mandibles parted. You dictate to the throne? Propose. Vance zoomed the hollow. Your fleet starves in our webs. Vox ignored stand-downs. Park's cyberlocks persist. Fuel reroutes to our traps. Her eyes narrowed. Admiral Vox executes my will. Vance kept voice level. He chased targets. We turned them into kill funnels. Sign this. Preserve your stability. Sharoon drummed claws. Overlayer feeds ghosted in her sight. Vox's bridge smoked. Subordinates quivered. Human ingenuity cued defeat. Empire first. Vox's glory bled her resources. She keyed a private channel. Security. Arrest Admiral Keth Vox for insubordination. Relay my stand-down empire-wide. Full withdrawal. Vance watched her exchange. No outburst, just command. Sharoon faced him. Terms accepted. Neutral zone holds. Joint framework deploys at dawn cycle. Vans extended the slate. Digital stylus glowed. She signed with a claw tip. Accord sealed. Hollow lines locked. He pocketed the device. Logged. Shuttle prepped? Sarith nodded. Sharoon raised a claw. One query, Colonel. How do your crews endure? No rotations falter. Vance pulled a data chip from his tunic. Routine. He slid it across the hollow barrier. It halted at her side. Human Logistics Manual. Copy for your archives. Schedules. Projections. Contingencies. Sharoon retrieved it. Label read. Earth Combined Arms Supply Doctrine. Rev 47. Her crest quivered. A manual? The weapon that cued her thirst. Consider it a field guide. Vance turned for the exit. Don't force us to get creative. Sarith escorted him out. Sharoon slotted the chip. Pages cascaded. Flowcharts for endless resupply. Modular trap redeploys. Shift rotations that outlasted stars. Humans fought like machines built for eternity. She keyed the bridge. All vessels. Execute withdrawal. Probes shadow human markers only. Deck trembled as the flagship pivoted. Vox's arrest beamed confirmed. Fleet ghosts pulled from the webs. Colonel Vance strapped into the shuttle. Sarith sealed the tube. Empress measures outcomes, Colonel. She departs changed. Vance checked his slate. Accord ratified. Rail status, green. Park's voice crackled. Cybernet's clear, ma'am. Imperial's spoof-free.
Copy.
Vance eyed the receding flagship. Sharoon's probes trailed at zone edge. She adapted. Good. Bridge crew pinged ready. Reload traps on schedule? Affirm. Vance allowed the thin smile. We reload. They rethink. Imperial bridge feeds looped the arrest. Vox dragged from command, mandibles grinding. Empress, the humans. Silence. Sharoon watched him hauled away. His charges, ignored stand-downs, fuel mismanagement, glory over discipline. Subordinates bowed crests. Fleet realigned for home vectors. Human zone loomed clean divided. She reopened the manual. Chapter 1. Endurance as force multiplier. Humans queued wars like inventories. Traps reloaded before strikes landed. Sorith entered. Probes confirm human rails cooling. No pursuit. Sharoon closed the chip. Log it. New protocol. Assess logistics before vectors. Humans welcome measure. Empire bent. Not broken, but the manual burned. Don't force humans to get creative. Vance's shuttle docked home carrier. Juno Park met him at the bay. Accord signed? Vox in chains? Vance handed the slate. Both. Neutral zone holds. Reload manifests incoming. Park grinned. Empress got the manual? Full copy. Vance strode to the holomap. Imperial signatures faded outer, traps reset. She'll study it. Crew reset rails. Marines stood down. Human endurance ground on. Sharoon faced the stars from her vault. Fleet packet streaked home. Probes trailed silent. War paused, on human terms. She drummed claws once more. Invade anew or evolve? The manual answered.